Friends, we are discussing unit number 3 of your syllabus, strategy formulation. Now, when we speak about strategy, really speaking, the matter has got four major targets. The first target, of course, has to be any organization who is into the operations or production has to think about cost and keeping that cost minimum, the first target of any organization. Second target has to be the maximization of profit. Now, when an organization opens itself, any entrepreneur, any businessman has to think about maximum profits. So, first target is to minimize the cost. Second target is to maximize the profit. Third target is to achieve competitive advantage. What does that mean? There are organizations and similar products are being sold by many operators in the market. It is important that your product has to be different than the product of the competitor, and not just different, it has to have competitive advantage. What does that mean? Your product must be comparable and should be best as compared to the other operators in business. So this is one of the most important target of any businessman, and that is the reason why we have this as to be one of the target, that is achieve competitive advantage. And the last but not the least, one of the most important target any business people have is differentiation. They have to differentiate their product with that of the competitors. Just competitive advantage is not enough. Your product also has to have some kind of distinct features, you can say distinctiveness for the product. And that is what we mean by differentiation. Differentiation is one of the most important target business has to keep for itself. Then when we are formulating strategy, what we are trying to answer, there are certain questions which we are wanting to answer. The first question that you have to answer is, where do we want to be? Where our business has to be when you actually end up establishing your business in the market. You have to set a target for yourself, that where do you want to reach? What is the goal? What is the extent your market you are wanting to capture? What kind of position you want to actually occupy in the market? That's what we mean by what do you want to be? What do we want to be? Where do we want to be? कहाँ जाना है, कहाँ पहुंचना है, मंजिल क्या होगी? That is the important question that every businessman has to answer to himself, and the people who are working must answer the question to themselves. Then they have to have a vision. Another important thing, they must have vision for all those things. Vision is the statement which a company makes to itself, which is committing itself to be something for. जिस चीज के लिए कंपनी बनी है, जिस चीज के लिए कंपनी फॉर्मुलेट की गई है, जिस चीज के लिए ऑर्गेनाइजेशन काम कर रहा है, मकसद क्या होगा? तो मकसद से पहले आपके विचार उसके लिए क्या होंगे? व्हाट इज दैट योर कंपनी विल स्टैंड बाय? किस चीज के लिए कंपनी अपना वहां पे अस्तित्व रखना चाहती है? The answer you have to give that answer in the form of vision. Then mission, the company must have a mission. Mission means activity which company wants to pursue for stakeholder which it has targeted for itself. कंपनी का स्टेक होल्डर कौन, सबसे बढ़िया सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट स्टेक होल्डर कौन होगा? आंसर टू दैट क्वेश्चन इज मिशन. Values, what values company will follow, what values company is going to work with. जैसे कि you are going to have honesty as the value, innovativeness as the value, openness as the value. Your company stands for what? Which values company wishes to work on? Customer satisfaction is a value. You have to have a value attached to your vision mission which you have formulated for yourself. Then goals, company must have goals, those targets which it wants to achieve, quantifiable or non-quantifiable targets. Then it must also split those goals into objectives. This is where the objective has to be clearly defined for every section of the organization. Now coming to goal, this very interesting word goal. Goal supports the mission. Most important. Whichever goal company has set for itself, it must support the mission. It must focus on primary activity or strategic direction. It must know where it wants to be, and it must know what all things that it wants to do for a longer period. So longer period will mean something like 3 years. When they have these 3 years in front of them, on those count of number of years, what all activities company will like to pursue, that becomes important. Then it must achieve excellence through delivery. Most important, company must achieve whatever it wants to achieve, and that achieving excellence is the target for which company must pursue its activities. And it must also know what all danger things which company is going to face. We call it disaster avoiding duties. There will be some disaster avoiding duties company will need to all the time think about. Supply all those things that are needed for people who are working with them. Give them the kind of apparatus, give them the kind of activity, give them the kind of machinery to work with. And then most important thing, do that for customer service. Make customer one of the happiest stakeholder of your business, and then you will automatically learn to earn money and profit for yourself. Now objectives are to be specified. Like I said, it should be even beyond goals, what all things company wants to do. It must answer the questions, what things are to be accomplished, when are to be accomplished. So date timeline has to be there. And then they should do all these things in a very smart manner. Now there is a smart model. I'm going to give you that smart model. Smart model will mean specific things it has to complete, measurable things which it must, aggressive but not attainable. You must try and do all those things which are possible, but attainable things you have to try and pursue. Result orientation, and last but not the least, time frame. So SMART is the model that is to be followed for achieving the objectives, targets which are kept for itself. Now there are 3 levels of strategies which we are talking about. The first level, is most important level of any company strategy, is corporate level strategy, which is decided at corporate level. Corporate level is board of directors, chairman, important executives that are going to be key in the functions that they are going to allocate themselves for. We have one of the most important target that is strategized at corporate level is stability. Company wishes to stabilize its business, wants to settle down, and then the priorities are to be clearly defined, and the growth, the expansion which company has to do, it must do it for horizontal growth as well as vertical growth. Restructure, inevitable thing at corporate level strategy. They have to think about right sizing, resizing the manpower which they have, retrench what is not necessary, remain relevant in the competition, and most important, use those combinations for people at work. The combination strategy, the combination theory, the combination aspect is called carrot and stick. Somewhere you will need to use stick, somewhere you have to use carrot. Carrot means motivation which you give in the form of monetary and non-monetary benefits that are offered to the people. And stick is wherever it is necessary, there are some kind of disciplinary actions that are pursued. Then you have to monitor all those things and then effectively ask people, ask resources to perform. This is corporate level strategy. Then we go to functional strategy. Functional strategy means every department of the organization will have its own strategies that are formulated. For example, you're talking about, there are 4 major activities that every business has to carry. The first one is human resource, second one is finance, third one is marketing and production and operations, and of course, material. These are the departments that functional strategies include, and for every function, there will be specific strategies that will be developed and actually implemented. Talent acquisition, compensation, retention, these are the strategies. Employee engagement, we call promotions. These are the strategies that are to be implemented for human resource. Then finance has also got some strategies like cost cutting, rationalization, zero based budgeting, transfer pricing. These are the functional level strategies. And then portfolio management, outsourcing, these are the strategies of finance. Marketing, new launch, they have to come out with fresh thinking for new launch. Diversification, wherever they feel that there are certain new products that could be introduced, diversify the range of products which company wants to get into the business. Segmented, make the segmentation of the market, make those targets specific for the team to actually pursue. Production operations, for them also, Six Sigma, lean management, TQM, these are the strategies. Inventory control. Given those examples in classrooms, so you probably know it, but then these are the things that are actually going to work for the organization for its success. Quality management initiatives, of course, are also part and parcel of operations and production. Then there are strategies for raw material issue. You know, those LIFO, FIFO methods are used for the purpose of production to be issued the material. Then there are production operations. So e-supply chain is one of those things that has become necessity. Now think people have to come out with methods of supply chain management. E-procurement, you have to have some kind of e-procurement now. Without that, you won't be able to uh, properly manage the material that is at your disposal. We talk about purchase order. We've got purchase order system also is one of those things that are part of strategies. Feedback system, one of those most important element of management. ECRM, that is also a new strategy that has come up. Feedback system, MIS, ERP, these are the methods that are driving the organization to achieve the goals that are set for itself. Now coming to the implementation, this is what we are going to learn in the next unit. That will be, everyone will be responsible for everything that is being done in the business. There are only few guidelines that will be given to each of those persons who will be interested to actually take that further and provide it down the line. And there are no easy steps like 1, 2, 3, 4. All those things are to be prepared in the form of checklist by every organizational department, and then accordingly pursue. That's what we mean by implementation. For implementation, we are going into the unit number 4 of your syllabus. This is what we can say roughly about the unit number 3. Unit number 3 focuses on vision, mission, goal, objectives. That was thoroughly discussed in the classroom, and the PowerPoint presentation is already shared with you. And now I'm signing off for this unit number 3. Thank you very much. Keep watching Chan Bate, Dr. Satish Chandra Joshi. Thank you.